Hi everyone, I'm Jenny Allen-Smith. I'm a transformational coach and master NLP practitioner, and I'm really excited to share with you the second in my vlog series of The Secret to Happiness, which is all about control and how control is absolutely critical to our levels of happiness. So as a reminder, in our first session, we really focus on Dr. Rangan Chatterjee's 2002 study of core happiness, in which he uses this brilliant analogy of a stool of happiness that has three core legs. And as a reminder, those legs are to live with alignment, control, and contentment. So in today's short session, I really want to focus on how can we get the control back within our lives? Do we feel this real sense of agency in our lives and in the way that we live our lives and in the way that we work? Do we feel a sense that the world around us is predictable and safe? And actually, how can we do that more to get in better control of our happiness levels, to really elevate those? So when we're talking about control and the control we feel we have over our lives, this can only start in one place, and that's in our mind. This is a key to controlling happiness. It's controlling the attitude that we have towards ourselves, the way that we think about ourselves. Now, this is a concept actually called mental wealth. Mental wealth is just as important as mental health. Mental wealth is how successful are you at managing the content of your mind? So I want to share some strategies today to help you to get more mentally wealthy and, in succession, happier. And the first thing I must say to you is that we are not our thoughts. This is one of the most powerful messages that I can share with you. Beliefs are the stories that we tell ourselves. And I bet you know what this is like. You might have said to yourself in your past, I really want to apply for that promotion. I think that will make me happier. But then you think, no, actually, there's no way. I don't have enough experience, or there'll be someone better than me. Now, this slide here that I'm sharing with you shows some other examples of what we call limiting beliefs. And I would love for you to take a moment, reflect on these and think about whether any actually resonate with you. Are these thoughts that you've had about yourself in the past? Now, it's really easy actually to spot limiting beliefs if we are attentive. And these can be deep-seated beliefs, but they are rarely the reality. They are rarely the whole truth. So empowering beliefs do the opposite. Empowering beliefs are the beliefs about ourselves that make us feel happier, that they build our confidence. They encourage us to take the risk, to believe in ourselves, to believe for the successful outcome. They tell you that regardless of the circumstance, you are capable of succeeding. So believing positively about yourself empowers you to just keep striving forward without limiting yourself with negativity. Empowering beliefs really do give you the confidence to persevere through the rough patches that we will absolutely all experience within our lives. So what I would like you to do is first just start by noting down on a piece of paper some of the negative beliefs that you have about yourself, your messy thinking habits. And then on the other side of the page, I would invite you to counterbalance these with some really empowering beliefs that you have about yourself. Really think about this. What's empowering that you could think about yourself? For example, I know that I'm assertive. I know that I can listen with empathy. I know that I'm a loyal friend. But that's me. What about you? Just take some time now, press pause on this vlog and just jot those down. So limiting beliefs down one side, empowering beliefs down the other side of that page. Now, part two of this exercise is for you to really choose one. Just pick out one for the moment. One, let's pick a limiting belief that you have about yourself, the one that's really glaring out at you from the page there. And then I invite you to work through these questions in the hope that we will be able to reframe this belief to be more useful to you. So the first question is this actually true? Do you have any evidence that this belief, this story that you tell yourself is true? The second question, is it actually helpful to you? Does it help you and the way that you live your life in any way? The questions are going to get trickier. The third question, was it true once? So once upon a time, perhaps it was true, but remember, we change. We're human beings. We change and we grow all the time. So perhaps it's not true any longer. And the fourth question, the trickiest of all, where did it come from? Where do you think, looking back, that belief really came from? What I would say to you here is that a lot of our beliefs stem from early childhood, between the ages of 0 and 6 to be precise. But think about, if you can narrow this down, where did it come from? What was the root cause of this belief? And now I want to remind you that you have a choice. You have a choice about these thoughts that you have in your mind. So with that choice, what would you like to do? Do you want to keep it? Do you want to keep this belief? That is your choice. That's your prerogative. Do you want to rewrite it in a way so that it becomes more useful or more appealing to you? Do you want to rip it up and throw it away, destroy it altogether, get rid of it? Or do you want to write a whole new belief, a whole new story for yourself that will absolutely impact your happiness levels and your behavior? So I really invite you to use this tool going forward and really evaluate what would be the impact on you and on your life of you making this choice today, but also really embracing this tool. And just if you can simply remember to join what I call the thought police, really interrogate your thoughts. Your thoughts determine your behavior. So stop, interrogate your thoughts. Is it actually true? What else could I think in this moment that might be more useful to me? And we can really challenge our limiting beliefs here, and we can look for evidence to the contrary. Now, Mark Twain once very famously said, "I've had a lot of worries in my life, most of which never happened." And I think this is much like sitting in a rocking chair. Anxiety, it gives us something to do, but it doesn't actually get us anywhere. So in order for us to be truly happy, we need to focus on replacing thoughts that don't serve us with the thoughts that do. Now, this is another exercise that might help you to do this. So what I really want to focus on is reframing the thoughts that don't serve us with thoughts that do. So with anxiety, for example, we could reframe an anxiety thought with an opposing question. So what if a webinar that I deliver all goes wrong? I would replace with, what if it all goes right? But what if they don't like me? What if the audience don't like me? What if they do? When our minds grab on to something negative, they can create these endless warped stories of all the bad things that can happen. But when we flip it around to the positive, it doesn't quite work in the same way. Instead, we are left with a blissful moment of relief. Now, psychologists refer to this concept as negativity bias. This is our brain's natural tendency to ruminate on all the negative possibilities rather than those positive ones, rather than on those happy thoughts. So by recognizing the anxiety in my example and reframing it, what happens if it all just works out? We start to loosen the shackles of our mind. We interrupt this vicious washing machine on full spin anxiety cycle. And when we practice this over time, our ability to more positively question our thoughts, that becomes stronger. Now, this is known as brain neuroplasticity. This is the brain's incredible ability to change with repetition of a thought or an emotion when we reinforce the neural pathways. This is a technique that's often used in cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT. When we change the way we think, we change the way that we feel. We can feel happier. So I invite you to write that happy story whenever the opportunity arises. So over the course of the next week or so, I challenge you to focus on analysing any moment of friction within your day to really help to retrain your brain to take a different perspective to life's inevitable challenges. So at the end of the week, take a moment to really reflect on how you feel. Do you feel calmer? Do you feel happier? Do you feel more in control? And ask yourself these questions. So at the end of the day, when did I get triggered today? This could be a time maybe when you felt frustrated, angry, annoyed, disappointed, all those feelings that are the opposite to happiness. What really was the reason? Was it maybe because it highlighted your insecurities or reminded you of something perhaps in your past? Or was it even just because you didn't sleep well the night before? What was the reason? And then what emotion did it bring up inside of you? Try to feel that emotion in your body. See if you can even breathe through it to relieve the tension in your body. And then this is a really important point. What has this taught you about yourself? Really reflect here. Perhaps it's actually taught you that it's not about you. Maybe it's about the other person. When you think about perhaps those insecurities that it might have brought up for you. And then write a happiness story. Look through this situation through a different lens. At the same situation, but you're seeing it differently to help you gain a sense of control over the situation. Try even to feel compassion for another person if they were involved in your story. Because remember, you can't control the behaviors of others. The secret to your happiness lies in you controlling your reaction. Now, another way to get out of this kind of anxious struggle with our thoughts is to enter what psychologists call the flow state. When you're in the flow state, you actually feel like you're in total control of your world. So this is perfect when we're talking about the control leg of our stool. Now, flow, have you ever been engaged in an activity where you lost all sense of time? Hours might have passed and you just didn't notice. You might have felt calm, focused, in control, deeply satisfied. Maybe you were even in a meditative state. Now, psychologists, as I say, call this flow, and it's seen as the optimal state of human consciousness. And research shows that the more often you experience flow in your life, the greater your happiness levels. So think about times when you've been totally absorbed on a task. Everything else seems to just fall away. Now, flow has been shown to make people up to 500% more productive, 600% more creative, and increase thinking patterns so much that it can cut learning times by half. So flow can even make you more empathetic. So think about when you can really live in the moment. And when we're in flow, we feel utterly content. We're in control of our world. We feel totally aligned to our purpose. These are all of the legs now of the happiness stool. So thinking about when to trigger it and how to drive ourselves into this wonderful flow state, there's some key things that need to be present. The surest way actually to trigger flow is to try learning or mastering an activity that you love to do. So see if you can incorporate that into your happiness schedule for this week. Also, it's about concentration and focus, not dividing your mind between different tasks, being totally absorbed in the present moment. What's also key is that there's a challenge skills balance. So the challenge of the task needs to slightly exceed your skill set. So you're pushed very slightly outside of your comfort zone. The magic ratio for this is 4%. So 4% harder than you feel naturally comfortable with. You want to stretch yourself, not to snap yourself. And psychologists describe flow as having 6 key core components. So you will know when you get there. You'll have complete concentration on the task at hand. Your thoughts and actions literally become one. Your sense of self decreases, so the ego is quietened. Your perception of time, as I say, will change. The sense of an anxious struggle, going back to our anxious thoughts, that just disappears away. And then your sense of control increases. The task actually provides you with immediate feedback, which really helps with the psychological immersion. And then the sixth and final point is the task becomes a pleasurable experience in and of itself. So if your job doesn't naturally put you in flow state, that's okay. Try to find other ways of accessing the flow state in your personal time. And if you're not sure where to start, perhaps just try thinking about something that you loved to do as a child. What made you feel joy as a child? Maybe building Lego, painting, playing an instrument, playing games. Play is another crucial ingredient for happiness. And it's something we often forget in adulthood. And this is why I'm sat here in front of my skiing pictures today, because I'm in flow when I'm doing a skiing activity. So observe yourself. What causes you to go into flow? Maybe observe your behaviors over the next few days. When and where do you find yourself in that flow state? Reflect afterwards and consider how you can drive this more frequently. More frequent flow equals more frequent happiness. I'll see you at our final happiness vlog. See you soon.